Okay, friends, we're going to begin on our back. So if you'll come to your mat, I'll share a little bit of warm-up and then some teaching, and then we'll do a little more practice until 1/4 and then we'll have some time for Q&A. So finding yourself on your back and have your strap nearby. Just take a couple breaths to let the back body settle to the floor. If you want any support with the blanket under your head or neck, you can take that. Feeling the breath rise and fall. And really allowing the torso to lengthen and widen. Particularly shoulder blades all the way out to the outer edges of the shoulders and the upper arm bones. Perhaps feel your front ribs also opening and widening as you lengthen and open the back body. Take your right knee in towards your chest, give it a hug. You can hold on the shin or you can hold behind the knee. You can keep the left knee bent or you can lengthen the left leg long. The pelvis even. See that it's even, and you might need to adjust by lengthening through the outer right hip, sorry. Just finding some nice hip flexion on the right and some opening for hip flexors on the left. And then take your strap if you have it. Not necessary, but welcome if you've got it. Place it around as you extend the right leg up to the ceiling, place it around the front arch of the foot, the mound of the big toe towards the mound of the little toe, so that the foot is in a nice flexion here. Ooh, and you draw the toes toward the forehead and get a good stretch through calf and Achilles, in addition to the hamstrings, back of the upper leg. And just go to your edge here, not too much, might be very early in your day. It's first openings, first harvesting of the day. And then take both sides of the strap into your right hand, ground your left hip point or thigh with your left hand as you take the right leg out to the right. See if you can lengthen your right sitting bone towards your left inner heel. I'll say that again. It's a little nuanced. Right sitting bone towards the left inner heel helps you find that external rotation of the right upper leg and helps the toes move more toward your shoulder. And then come on back through center, release, and we'll switch sides. I'm just going to flip because I have the limitation of the wall over there. Notice how you feel from right to left as you've worked one side of the body. And now take the left knee and hug in. You can extend the right leg if you like. And if it's appropriate, lift your head and just take a look to see, is my standing leg, is my right leg parallel here? See if you need to move it. Toes should be moving up towards the ceiling. Right foot flexed, ball of the toe also extending forward, and then take the left foot into the strap, send it up towards the ceiling, and once again take the strap around the front arch of the foot, across from big toe to little toe. Draw that foot into flexion, toes coming toward the forehead. Be here and breathe. And we notice as we hold any shape, sensation is not solid, is it? The sensations keep changing each moment. And that's the process by which we develop trust in our body. Take both sides of the strap in the left hand, ground the right leg as you take the left leg out to the left. Okay, so once again, that nuanced instruction, take the left sitting bone, draw it in the direction of the inner right heel. Left sitting bone towards the inner right heel. And perhaps you might begin to feel kind of an unfurling of the left upper thigh externally rotating. Come on back up. Release the foot. Give the knees a hug or a happy baby. Whatever feels good for you. And you can stay on the floor and move a little while I teach, or you can sit up as you wish. Want to share a few thoughts on the holiday of Sukkot, and then we'll continue in practice. So again, today's the 14th of Tishrei. Tonight, the 15th. Tonight we'll begin Sukkot. The moon will be at its fullest. Take a look for that. And of course, tomorrow is the 7th of October, 2 years. And so we're moving into that commemoration. It is a delicate time and a sensitive time. This class is called Impermanence Part 2. We talked last class about Yom Kippur, impermanence of body, impermanence of being, looking at our mortality squarely. Sukkot is like part 2. Let me explain. So with Sukkot, we begin the completion of our cycle. It will end at Simchat Torah. The cycle that began at Tisha B'Av, the 9th of Av, or even before that, a couple weeks with the fast of Tammuz, when the walls came crumbling down, right? The walls of the temple, the walls of our internal personality structures. We often look at it that way. Alan Luce certainly looks at it that way. We started at Tisha B'Av. We've gone all the way through of sort of breaking ourselves down, doing tshuva, rebuilding. And now in Sukkot, we build again joyfully with the knowledge of our impermanence, the knowledge of our frailty. And that's reinforced through the reading of Ecclesiastes, the book of Kohelet. Whereas Yom Kippur is a deprivation of body, Sukkot really revels in the body. It both continues an awareness of the Yom Kippur theme of impermanence and also rises up in joyful embodiment. Sukkot is an incredibly embodied holiday. We fulfill the commandments of this holiday with our body. We are commanded to be joyful. It's called Zman Simchatenu. We sit in the sukkah, Leishev Basukkah. We say a blessing for that. We wave lulav and etrog, which symbolize various parts of the body. We celebrate the harvest. So very embodied. And at the same time, we're commanded to build and dwell in this flimsy structure, this sukkah, for a week. This structure that we acknowledge could blow over at any moment. We leave the permanent dwellings of this home and we go out to the sukkah that reminds us that life could blow our house down in any moment. And the sukkah is also our body. This body is an impermanent dwelling, isn't it? Open to the elements, not a full protection. We acknowledge this. And yet at the same time, it's called Zman Simchatenu, the time of our joy. And this is a commandment. I have to say that my favorite chapter of this book, which we've been working on this whole period, Rabbi Alan Lu, Zichrono Livracha, his book, This is Real, and You Are Totally Unprepared. You are completely unprepared. This is my favorite chapter, this final epilogue on Sukkot. And he talks about Sukkot being a cathartic joy after the anxiety of the 10 days. Yom Kippur to Rosh Hashanah to Yom Kippur. It's a cathartic joy after this anxiety. We have emerged alive. The high priest has gone into the Holy of Holies and has emerged alive. So a couple words from Rabbi Lu about this. Perhaps this special joy is precisely the joy of being stripped naked, the joy of being flush with life, the joy of having nothing between our skin and the wind and the starlight, nothing between us and the world. We have spent the past many weeks stripping ourselves naked, acknowledging our brokenness, allowing ourselves to see what we won't usually look at, embracing the emptiness at the core of our experience, reducing our lives to a series of impulses that rise up and then fall away again. So now I'm skipping a little. So now we sit flush with the world in a house, the Sukkot, that calls attention to the fact that it gives us no shelter. It's not really a house. It's the interrupted idea of a house, a parody of a house. Moving forward. And when we speak of joy here, Zman Simchatenu, we're not speaking of fun. Joy is a deep release of the soul. Joy is a deep release of the soul, and it includes death and pain. Joy is any feeling fully felt, any experience we give our whole being to. This is yoga. This is yoga. We are conditioned to choose pleasure and reject pain, but the truth is any moment of our life fully inhabited, any feeling fully felt, any immersion in the full depth of life can be the source of deep joy. So I highly encourage, even if you only read the first couple chapters, at least skip to the end for this one. It's a good chapter. So I want to investigate today in our yoga, Zman Simchatenu, a full joy in which we can feel the air against our skin, in which we can feel all the sensations and embrace the fullness of ourselves in each pose, despite, and not despite, because of and with, including everybody's welcome, all our limitations, our injuries, our shortcomings, our whatever, to bring everybody into the sukkah. We can consider the limitations like ushpizin, like guests into our sukkah. Can I feel at home with the full knowledge that ultimately this is a flimsy dwelling? And today we're gonna work toward the pose of half moon, which is what I would say the sukkah. It's the flimsy dwelling of the poses. Can we dwell in it? And we warmed up a little for it, and we're going to continue some standing poses toward it. So I'm taking you kind of in a nice sequence that will build us to have. Let's start in mountain pose, corners of the feet. I've been practicing yoga over 30 years, and yet it's like a revelation each time I return here. Find the inner and outer heels. Find the mound of the big toe over to the mound of the little toe. And if we had a second camera that could zoom in, I would show you my toes. You may not want to see them, but lifting your toes and separating them, and then can you articulate them as you place them down to the mat? Can you even perhaps see a little bit of mat peeking between each toe, like when you look up in the sukkah through the schach and you see the sky? Can you see a little space here? Find the stability and also the ease in mountain. Where do you need to work? And where can you soften? Be light with yourself through your alignment adjustments. Right? They're gentle reminders and suggestions. And then let's jump or step the feet wide. We're going to start with Warrior Two. Turn the left toes in and the right toes out. Front heel in line with the back arch. Let's just start with hands on the hips, and then gradually just guiding that front knee into bending, and the edge of the back foot is grounded, outer edge of the back heel. Past your ankle, widen your stance. You don't want the knee to go past the ankle. And then inhale the arms up to shoulder height. Take the gaze over the right fingertips. Exhale, bend through that right knee. A few breaths in this pose. Ground the bottom tips of your shoulder blades. Let them support the back of your rib cage. And then come on up. Switch the feet. Hands to the hips, same thing, just gliding that front knee forward. You can even take your hand along your inner thigh as you go, just reminding that knee to stay in its track, especially that inner knee not to fall forward, inward. Just feeling this, just a little bit of opening for the hips and the inner legs. And then inhale the arms, shoulder height. Again, ground the bottom tips of the shoulder blades. Exhale, bend through that left knee. Gazing over the left fingertips. A few breaths here. The legs start to shake a little, that's fine. Building a little strength. Building our sense of stability in this pose. And then straighten, heel toe or jump the feet together. Okay. Now a more flimsy dwelling pose of the same. So, grounding through the left leg, shifting over, and seeing that ankle, knee, hip are nicely in one line for good support, providing the trunk. Turn out from the right hip, and then you can place the foot wherever. It could be a kickstand, could be ankle, could be calf, could be up towards the groin. And then place the hands wherever you like. Could be palms together, could be overhead, could be wide. Take this left greater trochanter and feel that it's drawing inward, sucking into the midline. Everything in this pose sucks into the midline and lifts up. Easy, steady gaze, easy, steady breath. And if you fall out, it's not an issue, not a big deal. I'm just working with our balance, and then we come back in. And then release and take the other side. So same thing, find that firmness of the standing leg. Excuse me. And then turn out from the left hip and find the place where you want to balance. It could be different on each side. And then I'll also offer, if this is a struggle for you for any number of reasons, you can place a foot on the chair, and that's also a great version of tree pose. That was my air chair. Greater trochanter, right? The outer right hip bone here, feeling that you're sucking it in, leg and foot coming toward each other, and then really lifting up the midline. Easy, steady gaze. And maybe even turn up the corners of the mouth. Helps balance. Certainly helps humor. And then release. So quite a flimsy structure, right? When we come to stand on one leg. Now we'll take more the permanent dwelling again, triangle pose. This is where you might want to have chair or a block. Turning the left toes in and the right toes out once again. Inhale the arms up shoulder height. Exhale, shift the hips like you're moving them on a conveyor belt over towards the left, torso coming to the right. And then bottom arm comes down. Could be to your shin, could be to the chair or block. Top arm can come up or top arm can be at the hip. Gaze can be forward or gaze can be up. Long line from tailbone to crown. Both legs here are straight. And then inhale, press into the feet and let that back arm bring you up. Turn the feet. Change your prop if you're using one. Take a pause to find those four corners of the feet once again. And you might notice, like, are you a triangle lover, hater? Do you have strong feelings, no feelings? How can we embrace this attitude of Zman Simchatenu? Like, it's the only pose we had, and it's really an enjoyment to settle into it, to whatever its harvests are, whatever its offerings are. Inhale the arms. Again, exhale and lower those shoulder blades down. Inhale, lengthen through the fingertips. Exhale, the legs are straight, the hips shift, the torso shifts, and we come down. Again, find your place. So I'm nursing a little knee ligament strain over here. So I'm modeling for you, it's a pretty gentle version of the pose where I'm coming over a little bit, but I'm not coming too far. So ideally, I would probably have a chair here. Right, so we can always work where we are with what we have. Inhale and come on up. Okay, wide leg forward bend. And you might place props in front of you. If you're not going to bring your hands all the way to the floor, right, you might take chair or blocks. Legs are super wide. The feet, the toes are pointed forward or even a little bit in. We all have different anatomy and different flexibility through the ankle joints. So see how that feels for you. Refine that sense of both refined, find it again, and also refine the four corners of the feet. Feeling inner heel, outer heel, mound of the big toe, over to the mound of the little toe. Inhale, lift the heart, squeeze the shoulder blades toward each other. Exhale, folding forward at the hip crease. Hands come down. Pubic bone and tailbone extend back behind you, long as the crown of the head lengthens forward. Good. Couple breaths here. And then rewind, hands to the hips. Inhale up, lift up, and exhale, come on back. Okay. Bring the feet back together for a moment. Just take a pause, mounted. And then we're going to take a look at half moon, which we're going to enter through a shortened triangle. And I'll model this one with my chair. You can use chair, you can use a block. If your inner leg is really open, your hand might come to the floor, no problem. So another thing is, if balance is an issue, you can do your whole back body against a wall on this pose. So we're taking triangle in a slightly shortened stance to the right here. Inhale the arms up. We're going to do this pose twice, so don't feel like you got to give it everything you've got the first time, because we're going to kind of imprint it in the nervous system and then take it again. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, shift. Come into your baby little triangle here. I like to keep the back hand on my hip. Bend the front knee. Place the hand and hop up. Good. Back leg is at hip height. The toes are pointing forward. The foot is flexed. The top arm comes up. Maybe you're facing forward as I'm doing, or maybe you're facing up toward the ceiling. You might feel some wobble in that standing leg. Again, it's fine to fall out. The further you come down with that standing hand, the more it's going to be on the inner right leg. When you're ready, unwind, come on back up. Switch sides. Certainly a flimsy dwelling, right? Triangle is pretty stable, more stable. Half moon, less stable. So coming into a shortened triangle, and where can you find a little bit of a full joy just from being present as we come into this pose? Inhale the arms, exhale, small triangle. Inhale, bend that front knee, and then hop on up. Make any adjustments you need. The foot is no higher than the hip. They're at the same height. Notice if it feels like a completely different pose on the other side. And then when you're ready, slowly come down. Okay, so what are key points in this shape? One is the issue of balance is a challenge, right? And just like tree, we can use our breath and our gaze to ground us a bit. The second is the integrity of the standing leg, just like tree pose. But we have it's weight bearing and it's also turned out. So what we did at the beginning of class on our backs where we took the leg out, we need an external rotation of that standing leg. If you're staying with me here, and we can talk about this after class. If it's like, what are you talking about? And go over it again after class. We need this from the standing leg. So we're going to take that instruction once again, once we hop into the pose of that sitting bone connecting to the inner heel of the leg that's in the air. I'll repeat it as we go. Just wanted to give you kind of a heads up on that nuance. Okay, so here we are, second time going to the right. You may want your same prop. You may want a lower prop if you feel opening in your leg. You can decide. You may want support for your back, the wall. Inhale. Exhale, baby triangle. Inhale, bend the front knee. I like to look down here. Exhale, hop up. Place the hand. And then I generally will change my gaze after that. So see how that is for you. Okay, so we want to really stabilize that standing leg best we can. Pulling up out of the ankle, the kneecap. And now consider that that right sitting bone is moving toward the left inner heel. Right sitting bone toward the left inner heel. Right sitting bone toward the left inner heel. See if you can feel that external rotation on that right leg. Stay as long as you like. And then slowly unwind. Come on out. Second side. Turning the feet. I think it's interesting too that we're taking a pose called half moon as we approach the full moon, but we're in the category of the moon here. Turn the feet. Inhale the arms. Exhale, shortened triangle. Inhale, bend the front knee. Exhale, hop up. Good. Find the pose. Lifting up out of the ankle, the knee, and the hip to extend in these outward directions to lift up, right? Not a lot of pressure in that standing hand either. Left sitting bone toward the right inner heel. Left sitting bone toward the right inner heel. Left sitting bone toward the right inner heel. Effecting this external rotation of the left leg. When you're ready, unwind, come on out. Before we hit the floor, counter pose. We'll take, again, wide leg forward fold. I had a teacher who used to do this pose like between almost every pose. It's a great counter pose. Widen the legs, hands to the hips. Inhale, lift up, and exhale, fold forward. Right, so no external rotation here. We're just drawing those thigh bones back. And the point of this is not to get a super hamstring stretch right now, as much as just to recalibrate through the legs. Stand evenly on both feet. Again, more of the permanent dwelling versus the flimsy dwelling. Just kind of going back and forth with appreciation. And then release. Lastly, we're going to come to the floor. Have a block or your blanket folded with you. We're going to do a supported shoulder stand. Before we do that, let's just take a bridge of any intensity you'd like. The heels are close to the sitting bones. The arms are extended, holding opposite sides of the mat. Press into the feet, the four corners of the feet, and lift the hips. Lengthen the tailbone. Hip points are moving toward the ceiling. So I'm just taking a very baby bridge. You could be here, or you could lift the hips up more, roll shoulders under you, clasp hands. You could take wheel if that's in your practice and you're feeling it. And then as you're ready, vertebra by vertebra, lengthen down. The lulav, the palm branch, represents the spine. One vertebra at a time coming down. Down the lulav branch. Lift the hips, place the block or blanket under your sacrum. We're going to take a supported shoulder stand by lifting the legs in the air. Feet toward the ceiling. Flex the feet, brighten up those toes. You can extend the front arch toward the ceiling. It's being here and breathing. You can roll shoulders under you and lift the sternum up. Zman simchatenu. What did he say? Like flush with the starlight. Our skin open to the wind. Zman simchatenu. When the schach falls, the branches from above fall down into your soup, kind of a prerequisite of eating in the sukkah. Just feeling that completion, that joy. Supported shoulder stand is really in. Could also, anytime place those heels against a wall. Very nice way to close practice. And then as you're ready, legs down, lift the hips, take away your support, and come into any extended pose of stillness you'd like. So this is more traditional Shavasana, legs long, arms by the sides. You might want something more like knees bent, soles of the feet to the floor, elbows bent, hands on the rib cage, constructive rest. Maybe you prefer a side-lying fetal, or even a prone pose, belly and forehead down, whatever it is you'd like. And by the way, just a really nice way you can approach fetal when you have two blocks is like one between the lower legs, one under your head. It's generally quite a comfortable way to experience this shape. Take a few minutes to let everything fall away and to be still. Begin to deepen the breath. Lengthening the inhale, lengthening the exhale. Wiggle your fingers and your toes as you start to wake up the body again. And we begin the transition back to our day, or into our day. Take all the time you need to make your way up to a comfortable seat. Any benefits that we receive from practice, we send them out for the benefit of all beings, for the benefit of this planet. Sending out wishes for healing. And we pray, as every Monday and Thursday in our liturgy, for the hostages. May all the souls truly be returned this time. Tomorrow marks 2 years. 2 years. You can join me for Achenu Kol Beit Israel. We pray that the living be returned and restored for life, and the dead be returned for burial and respect. So you can sing together with me or just listen as Rachel places the words on the screen. Achenu kol Beit Yisrael, Achyoteinu kol Beit Yisrael, Hanetunim betzara, betzara uvashivya, Haomdim ben bayam uven bayabasha. Hamakom yirachem aleim, veyotziem mitzara lirvacha, umeafel aleora, umishibud ligeula, hashta bagala, uvizman kariv. Hashta bagala uvizman kariv. V'nomar, Amen. May suffering end for the hostages. May suffering end in Gaza. May all sentient beings be free from suffering. Chag Sameach, my friends. Wishing you a beautiful Sukkot holiday.